Hey, everybody, welcome to the CMO Brain Trust After Party. We just finished up a great discussion in breakout rooms talking about the future of marketing, talking about how to get better involvement with virtual events. But of course, one of the big things that is always something that's a challenge that we have this awesome panel of CMOs here with us is a discussion about how to get better CRM adoption inside of your organization. As we know, better CRM adoption results in better attribution, and that is what creates return on investment. So CRM, big question here. So what I'd love to first do is, if for those of you that are on this panel with me here, I'm just going to open it up. For those of you on the panel with me, if you want to, as you're speaking, just let us know what CRM you're currently using. And then as you kind of chime in with some of the best practices that you would recommend to other people when they are trying to increase CRM adoption across the company. My background comes from client success. And so I know this is a challenge from the client success side. And we were constantly asked by marketing to be able to utilize attribution correctly. We had to do things in a certain way. So I'm very curious to see what you all say. With that, let's open it up. Who has some ideas? If we took a step back on CRM adoption, how do you as a marketing department help the organization better adopt CRM best practices?
Sure. I currently work for a nonprofit, and we use a CRM system called Give Effect that was designed specifically for nonprofits. But in my previous life, I helped guide clients through CRM adoption. So I've worked with a number of different platforms. I always say that, it's the sales folks at CRM systems are very good, and they make all their tools seem very wonderful and easy to use. And that is just not always true. I think that a well thought out RFP process that includes interviews with different teams inside an organization that might ultimately use the CRM system before you even go out and buy one, so that you can prove that the system you've selected meets their requirements. So like really drill down on the requirements from each of the different departments, so that you're really, what you're delivering at the end of the day is something that meets what they want, rather than trying to shove something into a department that never really asked for it.
I would second that. I mean, we did that when we went to Salesforce, but we involved the entire team, so it was sales, it was marketing, it was technical support. And the interview process and trying to get all those requirements probably took us a year. But in the end, I think it was much more worth it because people felt invested.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is that it takes a year. Mm-hmm. So, but that's not what they tell you in the sales pitches. So,
oh no,
people get very, very frustrated in the implementation process and like throw up their hands and walk away. So, setting expectations at the beginning is really important. About this is a year-long process.
Yeah, and I think we also talked a lot about it, what the journey was like. It wasn't like you weren't going to turn it on in day one and have your, Marketo integrated with Salesforce and all the campaigns run and all that kind of stuff. It just didn't happen. I mean, so I think it took us at least 2 years to get Marketo integrated into Salesforce. So it was a journey. And I think setting the vision of where we want to be with realistic steps of where we're going was really important for when we did it.
What about...
You're nodding, Ryan. You should say if you agree.
I would absolutely agree with Martha and Tony. So at Sound Credit Union, we're on CRM Next, and we've had it implemented for less than a year. And I think we've done an okay job of kind of setting the path forward, saying that it's going to happen in phases, and these are the things we're going to do with each phase. So that's been successful, I think, in getting adoption. One of the other things that we've seen that has helped with adoption is making processes easier for our salespeople. So if it adds work or adds steps, it's not gonna work. People are gonna circumvent it. And I really try to lead with a carrot rather than the stick approach. So let's add value for our employees to use the system rather than penalize them for not. So that's part of our approach.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I mean, one of the challenges, even with the stuff that we did from the standpoint of bringing everyone in, is we still had the challenge of getting the sales team to give up their Excel spreadsheet and go to the CRM. So I'd be kind of curious in some ways, is how did you guys to kind of get the value, maybe like, here's the value of the CRM, even if you're giving up control.
So I'm at a startup, and so the company existed for a while, but then we kind of pivoted to a new product, and so it was kind of a reset, which was wonderful. And they brought me on for that reset. They didn't have marketing before, so I was in this really privileged situation that I could be part of the team to build these things up from scratch, which I more or less from scratch, which I understand obviously is not a situation most people get to be in. But I have found that, first of all, obviously really close collaboration between marketing and sales, at least at the leadership level, is crucial, obviously, because if we at least can get the leadership aligned on the need and value of proper attribution, then at least it's not my job to complain that the salespeople aren't doing what they're supposed to, but the VP of sales does it. And then the other piece is obviously carrots, but I have a dashboard here, which I love, and it's my, so first of all, we made Salesforce, which is the CRM that we use, it's the system of record. So everything we do, marketing, sales-wise, everything goes in there. The leadership team, all we look at is Salesforce reports, right? My marketing team, they work in HubSpot. They can do whatever they want there to be successful. But when we have leadership meetings, we pull up Salesforce reports. And so if someone doesn't put the data in there, like, they're screwed, right? It's their problem at that point, because they're going to show up bad. And my favorite dashboard from a marketing point of view is the inbound follow-up dashboard. So we have an SLA where salespeople are supposed to reach out to MQLs, to high-value leads, with the same day or the next day if it's after 4 p.m. or something like that. They need to have 2 touches within, I'm making this up now, 48 hours, whatever it might be. And then they're in compliance. And I can see for every account, for every lead, by every salesperson who's not in compliance. And do I follow up with them? No, I don't. But at least then when people turn around and say, hey, I don't know that this is, is marketing doing what it needs to do? At least I can say, yeah, we're bringing in the leads that we're supposed to. We're bringing in the contacts. We're nurturing them to the MQL level. So we think we're doing what we should be doing, but we're seeing that not enough is being picked up, and we're not getting the feedback of the quality. And so we are happy to change things on our end, to improve on our end, but we need our leads to be actioned, and we need the feedback. So that's the way that we solve it, or trying to.
I agree with everything. I would add, I kind of go back to what Ryan said, that simplicity is key. I'm with MCE, Motion Control Enterprises, mid-sized Midwest distribution company. We're actually converting from Rubber Tree to Tour de Force right now. And Tour de Force is also connected to MITS as the BI platform. And early on, as I got here, there was this huge demand for information, especially close to a couple of our key vendors. Vendor, sub-vendor, product category, all this level of detail. And I asked a lot of questions of how's that going to be used? How are we going to transpose it? And what I found was there wasn't clarity there. And yet we were adding lots and lots of process time to opportunity management, activity management, customer management. And so we've scaled back on those. Just like we want really good information out of a CRM as business leaders, I think that insight engine needs to be as powerful for sellers as it does for management. And one of the complaints that I think often gets ignored by the sales force is the quality of the information in the system. And there's kind of this fallback, especially in distribution. Well, it's going to be noisy, right? We're going to have multiple iterations of the same contact and same customer. And I don't think that's really fair to a sales force to say, well, you deal with the noisy information, but I expect really good stuff out of you. So if they have to go in and look up a contact and get 14 versions of the same name, that makes it really difficult and challenging for them. So if we want clean and good information out from the sales force, we should absolutely be willing to do the work to clean the data in the system so that they can get to their customers quickly, get to the information quickly. And then the last thing I'd say is there's all sorts of great kind of insight engine tools out there right now. So, whether that's kind of understanding when you're transitioning from one part of the sales process to the next, and there's a little bit of AI or something in there that helps with that. If you're doing a potentialization model and you're populating that into the system so that they can see where the opportunities are within their customer base without having to go outside of the CRM. Those are insight engines which will always drive sellers to that tool and want to use it and interact with it in a great way.
Well, I can't second what Ben said about clean data. These tools do not clean data. They do not clean data. But it's, and again, that's not something that you get told in the sales pitch. You need to clean your data before you put them in the tool.
Absolutely.
You need to find the duplicates and collect, you need, and there's usually such a rush. You finally made a decision on the tool. It's like, let's get it going. Well, no, now you need to export all your data, go to somebody who's going to do some serious deduplication process, add more data if it's, from wherever you want to, source it, Dun & Bradstreet or whomever, and then put it in clean, because once it's in dirty, you're going to lose people.
Yep.
I totally agree. And a lot of people say we're going to fix it in post-production. It never happens.
That's a lie.
You gotta clean it first.
No way.
And have ideally you have a model refresh that will redo that every couple of years too.
Yeah, I'd say along with keeping the data clean, there's also I think Martha, you talked about the sales folks. They don't often tell you the importance of having a dedicated resource to administer the system. I think that's something that we have lost. We've made that mistake where we thought that, one of our system admins could just tuck it into their portfolio. No, it doesn't work that way. It really needs a dedicated resource to make it work right.
Yeah, I'm going to say, so for us, we've got an admin on the marketing side. We've got sales operations, which are where we're hiring additional now. And we've got a Salesforce consultant on top of that. And that's for a 60, 70 person company, right? Like if you want the CRM to work, it needs that level of
commitment,
of care, commitment. That's exactly right.
Wow, this I feel bad cutting it off, but I know we just want to keep this to around 10 minutes. This was fantastic, you all. Thank you so much. I mean, having been through a Salesforce implementation, what you just said is absolutely amazing. And what I'm amazed about is that you as CMOs are like, we're going to clean the data up. Yeah, you're not saying that it's up to the operations team or whatever it might be. I think that says a lot about how bad data in, bad data out. And if all the data is coming in from the marketing side, then it's really important to keep that clean. And I think that if sales teams and client success teams are seeing the effort marketing is putting in to making sure that the data is clean, they're going to respect the CRM a lot more. They're going to respect the work that you're doing a lot more. And one of the big questions actually that we've been chatting about in this group has been, how do you show more non-metric value to an organization from a marketing department? And I think that's one of those key things that Ben and Ryan and Martha and others that you have said is kind of being the keeper of making sure those leads are clean. So fantastic conversation. I appreciate all of you joining us today. For those of you out there on Facebook, if you want to connect with any of these people on LinkedIn, fantastic conversations today in our CMO Brain Trust. I appreciate you all coming, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,